Hour number 2 of Three Man Front on this cold Monday. It's National Championship Monday, as the Indiana Hoosiers, 7.5-point favorite, will be taking on the Miami Hurricanes in their home stadium tonight. And you can hear the game right here on Jocks as the Indiana Hoosiers tries to complete a perfect season. A lot of people, including Vegas, 73% of all the tickets in Vegas right now are for Indiana to cover these 7.5 points. 73% of the tickets.
Speaking about being covered, how about your roof? Well, your home, that's probably the biggest investment that you have. You want to protect it and got a great company, locally owned and operated, and some guys, family-owned business, Sammy and Matt, they're brothers, the Notos. It's Noto Roofing, notoroofing.com. They're going to work alongside insurance companies if you need them to. They'll certainly assist in the claims process. And one of their talented professionals like Chris, who's been in the roofing business for almost 3 decades, he's going to walk the house. He's going to be very honest and open about what they find. If you don't need a new roof, they're not going to tell you you need a new roof. But also, they're going to look at flashing around the chimney, your gutter systems, making sure that the roof works properly. Said the worst thing that they could do is go and put new shingles on your roof, give you a new roof, and then you have other problems. It takes away. Very detail-oriented. You can trust them. They offer warranties, offer free inspections to all Jocks listeners. It's Noto Roofing. Sammy and Matt, great guys like Chris that will come and take care of you. Check them out, notoroofing.com. Give them a call today, 205-848-2299. That's notoroofing.com. Always tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you.
Coming up later this hour, we'll talk to Jacob Goins from the Locked On Hoosiers podcast, get his feelings about tonight's game. Danny Cannell is going to be on at 12:30, a little bit of a change there. Instead of noon, he'll be on at 12:30, and then Bill Clark will join us at 1 o'clock. Transfer portal over the weekend. Auburn has added another player. They're up to 32 now this morning with Chattanooga cornerback transfer Kamari Todd, the Gardendale, Alabama native. He had 50 tackles, 1 interception as a freshman, so he now joins the Auburn Tigers. Meanwhile, the Alabama Crimson Tide, their portal additions now up to 18. If you're keeping score at home, the transfer portal rankings, according to 247, Auburn is currently 12th. Alabama 18th, if you keep up with that. Meanwhile, NFL playoffs, tough break, no pun intended, for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. It looked pretty mundane, didn't look like a really big deal, but moments after the overtime win over the Bills, 33-30, Sean Payton announces that Bo Nix is lost for the year, having surgery, I think, tomorrow?
That's correct.
On his ankle.
Yeah.
Here in Birmingham.
Josh Allen turned it over 4 times. Buffalo turned it over 5 times on the day. And as we mentioned, Bo Nix fractured a bone in his ankle. So now former Auburn quarterback Jarrett Stidham will start the AFC Championship game against the team that drafted him, the New England Patriots.
I would just like to say that like 3 months ago, I pointed out that the Patriots had a really good shot at making the Super Bowl, and I didn't know that they would have the easiest path in maybe recent NFL history to do so, but it looks like they're going to have a very easy path to another Super Bowl appearance.
Yes, it is. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, he is now 0-3 in overtime games in the playoff. That ties Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning for the most overtime losses without a win by a starting quarterback in NFL postseason history. Also, the Bills are the first team in NFL history to lose by 3 points or fewer in the playoffs in 3 straight seasons. And on top of that, they fired their head coach this morning. Sean McDermott has been fired. He went 98-50 in Western New York. He had an 8-8 record in the postseason. He was under contract with Buffalo through the 2027 season, but their general manager, who put the roster together, he has been retained. He will be the one that will hire the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
When is the new stadium?
Tomorrow.
Next season?
Next year. Ready to go.
That thing is beautiful.
Be enticing for a future head coach.
So the Broncos will take on the Patriots, who knocked off the Texans 28-16. I've never seen a playoff weekend with so many turnovers by the quarterbacks.
I think there were, 8 in this game?
It was just unbelievably bad. First half alone, there was 4 takeaways by New England's defense. They forced 22 plays of 0 or negative yards in the first half. Just dominated the Texans. C.J. Stroud throws 4 interceptions. He is the fourth quarterback in the century to throw four interceptions in a playoff game. Trevor Lawrence, Brett Favre, and Brad Johnson, the other three NFL quarterbacks to do that. Drake May, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. As you mentioned, Conrad, 8 turnovers in the game.
And I mean, look, all 4 teams that are left are really, really good. But I think if you're a Seahawks fan, you probably feel really good right now. Because, obviously they slaughtered the 49ers. But you just look at these other games, right? Okay, the Rams barely win a game where they had won the turnover battle 3-0, and they had to go to overtime. Similar with the Bills and the Broncos. The Bills turned it over, 5 times, and they still went to overtime. Patriots, same thing. The Texans turned it over. It just felt like there were a lot of games where the team that won should have won definitively, and they just kind of let other teams hang around. But the
Seahawks is my pick right now.
A little different. Yeah, they're really good right now.
I was sold after watching that game this weekend.
Sam Darnold could win a Super Bowl. That'd be crazy.
So New England is the only team in the NFL this year that was undefeated on the road, and they'll have to win another game on the road if they want to go to the Super Bowl. They're 8-0 on the season on the road.
You know that Bills-Broncos game, how good that was, but you go back to Josh Allen and the throw that he misses that would have won the game. Yeah, with there would have been 10 seconds left.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
That was tough. You don't think he cares. I mean, to get up there and to sob because he feels like he let his team down, and 4 turnovers will do it. But
he's probably sobbing because he knew that he went in and told the owners they needed to fire McDermott. Probably had a conscience at that point.
I mean, if there's any team you feel bad for, it's like they're really good, so I understand why some people maybe aren't sympathetic towards them, but just imagine being a Bills fan.
I can't.
Like, it's brutal, and then you go back to, obviously, in the 90s with everything that happened. It's awful.
Yeah.
They're so good, and it's like, why? I mean, how many years now have you gone into the year and felt pretty confident? The Bills might be the best team in the AFC.
During the Bobby Cox years and the Braves in winning division championships consecutive, however many it was, and as a Braves fan, we get compared to the Bills back then because the Bills, the 4 straight Super Bowls and coming away with nothing. But at least the Braves got a championship in 95. The Braves got a championship in 21. The Bills fans, they continued to just be tortured season after season.
Just give them one. Just give them one.
Yep. Meanwhile, the Texans are now 0-6 in the divisional round, and I believe they're the only team that has not made it to the championship game, right?
Well, their game, who did they beat? They beat whoever they beat in the last round. That was their first road playoff win ever.
Yeah.
In the history of their franchise. Now, granted, haven't been around a long time, but still.
Yeah. 0-6. And you feel bad. D'Amico Ryan's now 0-3 in the divisional round. So.
I'm sorry. I know there are a lot of people thinking he might get fired and be looking for another job elsewhere. I don't think that's happening.
Meanwhile, Ryan Grubb's former team, they scored 41 points. They're not missing him calling offensive plays for the Seahawks. Of course, it helps out when you get a opening kickoff return for a touchdown.
So you want to tell me that Alabama's current offensive coordinator, he leaves Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama's former quarterback, who Alabama fans complained about, goes to Seattle, and now they're on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're 15-3 without Ryan Grubb calling plays.
Well, you know what the key to that is? Jalen Milroe's not playing. He's not touching the football.
He's got influence in that locker room, Conrad.
But there was a feeling before the game.
I know.
Because Darnold came out really late that he was going to be number 2 yesterday. But
there's no drop-off. There's no drop-off.
Well, that was the craziest thing was they went into it like, our quarterback hasn't even looked at a football in a week because he hurt so bad, and then they go out there and win by 35.
Finally put Milroe in a system where he can thrive.
The thing I loved about yesterday's games was all the snow. That's the way it should be, especially when you get to the NFL playoffs. You had snow in New England. Then last night you had cold weather. Rams, team from Southern California who plays indoors, found a way to get the win 20-17. Stafford 258. Kyron Williams 87 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Caleb Williams 257. That throw on his heels.
That was one of the best plays I've seen in a long time.
That was so awesome.
That was incredible. But former Stallion Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker, goes from Protective Stadium all the way down to you know where, to Soldier Field. Cold weather. Wow. Take a listen to Harrison Mevis in the locker room.
You were surprised that the Bears didn't ice you and call timeout before the last field goal?
I mean, we were already iced with the cold weather, right? So,
Sitting there in the locker room wearing his Mizzou hat.
making Drinkwitz proud.
Why didn't he wear his Birmingham Stallion hat?
Because Skip's not the coach anymore. I don't know.
Might be why.
That
The
might
Stallions' track record of special teams players,
It's tremendous.
Phenomenal.
2 of the best kickers in the NFL.
Mhm.
Not bad.
So Matthew Stafford gets his 55th career game-winning drive in the fourth quarter or overtime. He has 11 more than the closest quarterback in the NFL.
The Bears kicker, when he lined up for it, I said, "Oh, this is fitting because of all the issues that they had from Cody Parkey to." It's like he'll miss this, but
Oh, yeah, because that happened in the playoffs a couple years ago, didn't it? They were going to win a playoff game, and they doinked one
Mm-hmm.
against the Eagles,
Off the upright,
maybe?
right?
yeah, it was
If I
off the
remember
upright.
correctly,
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking when that was happening that if Mevis would have hit the upright and then it went in,
Ah,
that would have been apropos.
So, Molly, are you ready to fire Dan Campbell and bring Ben Johnson back?
No,
No.
kneecaps for breakfast.
I like kneecaps.
Yeah,
Heck of a job in his first year.
I floss
Oh
with
yeah,
tendons.
no doubt.
So the matchup for this weekend, you'll have New England at Denver. That will be the first game at 2:00 on Sunday. And you'll have the Rams at Seahawks. That will be the primetime game, which is supposed to get kicked off around 5:30. This is what's so interesting about the matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks. You know, they split during the regular season. Los Angeles has scored 58 points against Seattle this year. Seattle has scored 57 points against the Rams. Season yardage, Rams 830 against Seattle. Seattle has 829 against LA. So you got 1 point difference, 1 yard difference. The biggest difference in the two games is Seattle turned the ball over 7 times against the Rams. The Rams only turned it over 1 time.
And when did they win? When they played at home.
Yep.
In Seattle. And that's where the game will be on Sunday.
Yep.
That stadium is so loud when they get going.
It absolutely is. It's just
I've attended a game there. I can only imagine what it's like in the playoffs.
I'm very excited for that game, but what Pat just brought up, the 2 games this year where Sam Darnold has been the guy we thought he was when they played the Rams. So hope that oblique gets better.
Yeah.
I want a good game.
Let's go to the phones, 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's talk to Cowboy on this Monday. Hey, Cowboy.
Hey, Pat, how you doing? I hadn't talked to you in a while.
Happy New Year.
to all
You too.
guys.
You too, Cowboy. Hope you're
Yeah.
doing well. You happy about the transfer portal work for Kalen DeBoer in Alabama?
Oh, man, it's just one AA specialty, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. Hey, I still stand by my comment to you that I made last year in May about Matt Campbell from Iowa State. I hadn't forgot that. Rodney Orr hadn't forgot it either. He told me I told y'all point blank, Matt Campbell. Yeah, I stand by Matt Campbell's a better coach than Kalen DeBoer. Yes, sir. I stand by that. How are you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic. It's a brand new year, getting ready to wrap up the college football season. So what do you think? What kind of grade did you give Kalen DeBoer this year for Alabama? I know he's not your most favorite person, but moving forward, how do you think this is going to shape up?
No, it's not going to end well.
Now, when you say that,
Not gonna
do
end
you,
well.
do you think another year, 2 years? What are you thinking?
He might can get him a parachute and say that kind of like Bill Curry did in your formative years. You remember? Because what we've done here is we've repeated history. You know, after Coach Bryant, the Perkins deal, and after Saban, we've repeated history.
So do you think DeBoer
You know, they
is
didn't
closer to Ray Perkins or Bill Curry?
I think he's closer to Bill Curry more than Ray Perkins.
Okay. Because of his personality or just because the way he coaches football?
You know, just his personality, I guess. You know, Kalen DeBoer's probably a good guy. You know, he really is. I'm sure. Or you can tell he's a good dude. But, you know, sometimes you're just not a cultural fit. And he walked into a non-cultural fit. But Jimmy Sexton sold him a new bill of goods. And all this hire was orchestrated in November when Kalen DeBoer went to the Jimmy Sexton agency, and then Jimmy Sexton knew he had Greg Byrne in his back pocket. I mean, who's gonna come out and say after a legend like Nick Saban retires, you're gonna have a head coach hired in 72 hours? I got a 28-page minute by minute book on how to hire a coach. I mean, who does this guy think he's talking to, Greg Byrne? He must think he's talking to a bunch of idiots, because I don't buy that. I mean, Greg Byrne he's great at walking around in his attire and talking to people and giving them that corporate talk. I mean, I don't whatever about him, but
okay. Let me ask you a question. If it had not been Kalen DeBoer, who did you want to be the head coach, or who do you think Alabama could have gotten?
The first problem is no alpha dog football coach is working for Greg Byrne, because we're back in the mode of we don't have a real leader in the athletic department anymore. We've got a lot of people with agendas, and now a lot of people have access in the building that didn't have access when Nick Saban was there. And Nick Saban had them walking around on pins and needles. His job was to come in there and win football games, and he did it. So till we get that alpha dog coach, we'll wander in the wilderness, but it'll happen, But hey, what is you guys' favorite Sunday? This one coming up for the NFL championship Sunday, both conference championships.
It's right up there. It's a big one, no doubt.
I've always wanted for a West Coast team, and it's never worked out. And since they went to this 5:30 format, a West Coast team has never been the 2:00 game when the deal's on the West Coast. Somehow, by the luck of the draw, it hadn't happened. I've always wanted the West Coast team to be the 2:00 game. That way, they have to start at 12:00 in L.A. or Seattle or whatever, and we get a time game out of that area that you would never see during the season. I always thought that would kind of be neat, because every time the West Coast team is in the championship game, it's always the afternoon game. Now, we have had Denver before, like this year, when Peyton Manning was the quarterback and they beat Brady in the 2016 year, where they're the 2:00 game, and that's 1:00 in Denver because they're on Mountain Time.
Right.
But I've always wanted that Pacific team to have that 12:00 home game, and it's just never worked out. I mean, it could happen, but every year that they're the home team, it's the 5:30 game, Central. What's y'all's thoughts on that? Is that just some kind of perky thing of mine, or have y'all ever thought that?
I have actually thought about that too, and I think television executive also get involved in regards to what's going to make for the largest television audience, and obviously with Seattle and Los Angeles being two larger markets, than Denver and Boston.
No, the TV guys got nothing to do with it. They set these things. One year is the NFC at 5:30.
Kind of flip-flop it?
The next year, they flop it. There's no set deal. They flop it, Pat.
I must be thinking about baseball. I'm thinking about baseball because baseball manipulates when they have first pitch times. So, hey, Cowboy, always great to
talk.
Go ahead.
We hadn't even talked since that World Series, man. I don't just like the Dodgers, but that was one of the best World Series I've ever seen. My goodness.
It was tremendous.
How about Vlad Guerrero Jr.? I just hurt for the Blue Jays, man.
I don't. They're Canadian. I'm glad USA wins.
The Blue Jays.
Well, I meant, all the Dodgers do is buy a team every year. At least the Blue Jays develop their team.
Hey, listen, Cowboy, it's no different than college football now. Just go by your roster. I mean, you're
dead doing it now, baby.
That's what the Dodgers.
Get your
That's what
money
Dodgers
out.
are doing. Yeah. So no big deal.
Hey, how's your alma mater UAB doing in this money game now? How they doing?
Not
They got
doing
any
very well.
Royal Cup coffee cans they're passing around?
Yeah, it's had better days, but they've got a really great coach coming in. So
I like that guy.
he's
Let's
good.
all get behind him from the
Absolutely.
Birmingham area. His
All right,
dad
Cowboy,
was
we
really
need to
a great guy.
No, he was. We need to run, Cowboy. Appreciate the call. Happy New Year. More of your calls and texts. We'll get to those next. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll get the very latest on the Indiana Hoosiers. Jacob Goins, host of the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. He'll join the program 1 hour from now. We'll talk to Danny Cannell from CBS Sports. 1 o'clock, Bill Clark.
Phone lines are open, 800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Don. We had a busy weekend following all of Auburn's recruiting efforts out of the portal. Hey, Don, how are you?
Hey, guys. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend.
You as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, Landrum and Pat, Molly and Conrad, what a sports weekend. I mean, you know how we all love college basketball. You had a great day at college basketball, and then unbelievable playoff games. And Conrad, buddy, congratulations on your transfer weekend. Y'all did well and moved up a lot.
Thank you. I'm glad to know that my
money.
money's going to good use now, Don Don.
What is it? $20 a month, like Pat said last week.
I'm in the 99 cent a month tier for right now.
They gave him the promotional deal to start. Only 99 cents
I
a
just
month.
canceled every month and re-up it with a new credit card.
Yeah, he gets the T-shirt.
When Auburn first started doing their NIL collective, Landrum, you'll appreciate this. They had a $34 a month to honor Bo Jackson, so I did that for about a year.
Okay.
So how much do you give Auburn now?
I don't, Pat. I don't. Because to be honest with you, the last 5 years has been a waste of money, Pat.
No, I
think that sentiment is held by not only Auburn fans, but fans across the country, including fans that have a lot of money, including Troy Aikman.
Here's the thing, and I don't mean this as a dig, but you do so much.
Not you, Pat. Not you. You would never dig.
No, I'm being serious for a brief moment. What you do for the Auburn program in regards to your fervor, your passion for the program, on whether it's Paul's show, this show, Morning Jocks, even at Social Taco, I mean, your fandom and what you do for the Auburn program, I think they should be paying you money as opposed to you paying them.
Well, thank you so much for saying that, Pat. I really appreciate it.
No, and I mean that. I'm not being a smart ass. I know people out there going, yeah, he's being a smart ass. No, I'm really not. I mean that.
You're not.
You are a fan. You're not a fair weather fan. Whether Auburn is doing great or Auburn's doing poor, you're always an Auburn fan, and I appreciate that.
Well, I don't know about that. When I talk to Damien and Conrad, sometimes Conrad will tell you sometimes I get upset, and I'm so glad Hugh Freeze is gone. I can't tell you, and I got to tell you guys, these guys are working their tails off and everything. And Pat, I don't know if you looked at the reviews or not. We had a great high school visit weekend.
I saw that.
A fantastic.
I did see that.
And number two quarterback in the country from Chicago, I believe this last name's Abrams, is seriously considering us. And everything had a great weekend. But anyway, I know you're short on time and looking forward to the rest of the show. And I'll be up there bright and early tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll beat the Godfather up there tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don Don. From Don Don, we got a Robert in Greenville. Hey, Robert.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Robert, doing great. I hope you are.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Listen, I want to respond to the first caller from the last segment.
Cowboy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Kalen DeBoer's not going anywhere. Look, you had a 2-game improvement from last year. You're going from 9-4 to 11. I think it was 11-4. You made the college football playoff. You won a playoff game. You got the SEC championship game. You're going to finish in the top 10. You're transitioning over from the greatest coach ever, okay, and you're getting used to coaching in the SEC, in the transfer portal, in the NIL era. And I just think that Dan Campbell's a fine coach, but he's an NFL coach. He's never coached a lick of college football in his life. So this big idea that Dan Campbell's coming to Tuscaloosa, well, I'm supposed to put that on the shelf because it ain't going to happen, okay?
And not to mention the fact that he's a Texas A&M graduate.
That has nothing to do with this conversation. But DeBoer, to me, and his staff have rallied extremely well in this last week of the transfer portal. I think they addressed the offensive line. I think they addressed the defensive line. I know people are going to talk about the running back. Hopefully they'll get one this last stretch when they announce on Wednesday. But I hate they lost Indiana the way they did, but I'm really satisfied with the direction the program is going in. Look, on tonight's game, I've got Indiana winning a close one. I got 27-24. I think it's going. I think Miami is going to try to turn this into a fourth-quarter game. Try to slow the tempo down, minimize possessions. But Indiana doesn't use much tempo either. And I think this is going to be a line of scrimmage game, although I think these two offenses will get going in the second half. But these are two coaches, real no nonsense, fundamentally sound teams, and I like this matchup better than I did Ohio State Notre Dame. I just don't want. I want Miami to win. I cannot believe I'm saying that. I hope my Bama haters listening, but I am rooting for Miami tonight. I do not want the Big Ten have 3 straight national titles, but I'm kind of afraid we're heading that direction.
Thank you, Robert. Well said. Speaking of Indiana, Jacob Goins, who handles a great Indiana podcast. Everything you need to know about the Hoosiers and tonight's game, he's next on 3 Man Front.
.33 here on Jocks. Tonight is the national championship game as the Indiana Hoosiers go for a perfect season as they take on the Miami Hurricanes. Currently a 7.5-point favorite. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, Jacob Goins, host of the Locked On Hoosiers podcast, joins us now. Jacob, I hope you're doing well.
I am, yeah. Looking forward to a fun night in Miami for the national championship game. I will not be there, unfortunately, but looking forward to watching it, covering it, and doing a show later this evening. And I really do think it'll be a good one between the Hoosiers and the Canes tonight.
Well, that was going to lead to my first question because the confidence level with the people around the program and the people that you do this podcast and you obviously you talk with and exchange ideas with, do they feel pretty good about tonight's game? Because I know Vegas does.
Yeah, they do. And it's easy to feel that way, right, given what has happened this year with the Indiana Hoosiers. I mean, the regular season was such a blur, and it went by so fast. And I mean, we're almost 2 months away from the regular season finale, which is kind of wild. But I mean, Indiana has pretty much been through it all, right? They've been through the tough games against a team like Iowa or Penn State. They've been through the blowouts like Illinois and a double-digit win against Oregon on the road. And then the college football playoff has been nothing but a beatdown for Indiana with anybody that goes up against them. So, yeah, the fan base is confident. You know Kurt Signetti and his team are confident because they wear it on their shoulder and they're not afraid to show it. But you cannot let that get to your head if you're Indiana tonight. I don't think the team will, but the fans are absolutely fired up, and they're expecting another 30, 40-point blowout. I don't think that's the case, guys, but I do think that Indiana's confident going into this evening.
Jacob, there's other teams, a lot of other teams around college football desperately trying to replenish their rosters and manage those rosters out of the transfer portal. But the Kurt Signetti Indiana example keeps coming up. I'm fascinated just from the culture piece and that aspect of the program that he's instilled there in Bloomington. You covering the program, is there a common denominator or maybe a personality or character trait that you've noticed with a lot of these guys that he's brought into that program?
That's a great question, and it's a great point, too, because that is the Indiana way. That's the Kurt Signetti way, and I'll say if you go and look at high school recruiting rankings or even the current transfer portal rankings that Indiana has coming in for next season, the lone big star name, well, I guess there's two, Josh Hoover from TCU, the quarterback, and then Nick Marsh, the receiver from Michigan State. Those two guys are incredible, but all the other guys that they're bringing in for next year, most college football fans probably don't know. You've got a tight end from Miami, funny enough, who I think has caught 2 passes. You're going to get guys from G5, JUCO, or P4 who didn't have a whole lot of talent or maybe a whole lot of starts or anything like that in terms of their rankings and things. But I think one of the characteristics that Indiana goes after is process-oriented, and that's what Kurt Signetti talks about so much. And they also go after guys who are proven, right? Have you made plays? Have you shown the ability to make plays at this level? And are you going to fit in with our program, whether that's in the locker room, culture-wise, if it's on the sideline, on the field, in the community, whatever that is? Indiana goes after guys that they want, not what the media and fans tell them they should want. And I think that's a big difference in what you see at the Ohio States and the Alabamas of the world compared to what Indiana's doing. They don't care if you're a 5-star or a 1-star. If they believe you make them better, they're going to go after you. And I think that's why they have had so much success in high school recruiting and in the transfer portal, because they go get guys that maybe other people don't think are as valuable, and then they develop them when they get to Bloomington. So, yeah, process-oriented is the big one for me, and if you are going to fit their system and you make them better, Indiana's going after you.
In regards to the preseason, when Fernando Mendoza was coming in, what was the general feeling around the program? Like, okay, this guy is going to be not one of these. It's potentially going to be a Heisman Trophy winner, but he's going to be able to run this type of offense that Signetti wants to run. Just your thoughts going back to even in August, how this prognosis of this team looked back then.
I was excited for Fernando Mendoza because that's a guy who, of course, played at California and had some experience. Heck, he went on the road and beat Auburn last year when he was at California, and you knew that he was somebody. He wasn't going to blow you away with his legs. He wasn't going to throw an 80-yard pass downfield, but you could see on film that he made the right decisions. He made the correct throws, and the guy was winning some games at Cal. I mean, that's pretty hard to do with not a ton of talent around him. And so on film, Fernando Mendoza looks like an upgrade from what the Hoosiers had last year, which was Curtis Rourke, a guy that came from Ohio. He then got drafted to the San Francisco 49ers. And I think if he didn't get hurt a year ago, guys, he was probably in New York for a Heisman Trophy ceremony. But by no means did myself or anybody say Fernando Mendoza is about to be the best quarterback in college football. He's going to win the Heisman and lead Indiana to a potential national championship game. Nobody thought that, but I was excited for what he was going to bring, and I think he's gotten better as the year has gone on. I think he's NFL ready right now. I think he continues to make the right decisions. The guy throws the ball like 20 times a game, and yet he's only throwing 1 or 2 incompletions a game right now. It's unbelievable to see what he is able to do, especially in the Indiana offense. With Kurt Signetti and Mike Shanahan as his offensive coordinator, man, they have really done a good job at developing quarterbacks quarterbacks, putting them in comfortable situations, and not asking them to do too much. And I think that's why Fernando won the Heisman Trophy. I think that's why he's got a chance to win a national championship tonight, and he's going to be the number 1 overall pick in April's NFL draft.
We continue to preview tonight's college football playoff national championship, Indiana and Miami. Jacob Goins joining us. He's the host of the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham hotline. You can't find really any deficiencies with this Indiana team, but when you look at Miami, Hurricanes have been really, really impressive in this playoff run. What is the toughest area that you've identified for Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers? Which side of the ball, which position group do you see being the biggest challenge tonight?
Unfortunately, my answer is going to be the obvious one, and it's the Miami defensive front. Those guys are nasty, especially guys coming off the edge like Ruben Bain. I mean, you have to get a body on those guys, sometimes even 2 bodies on those guys, and stay away from them the best that you can. And look, I think this will probably be the best defensive line that Indiana has seen all season. But here's what I've been telling people, is this is not the first good defensive line that the Hoosiers have seen, right? They've played Penn State. They've played Oregon twice. They've played Ohio State. They've played Alabama. So they know how to handle a good defensive front, but I do think this will be the best one they see all season long. And so that paired with an aggressive secondary with guys like Keontae Scott for Miami, it reminds me of what Indiana does defensively, which is get after the quarterback up front and then attack the football when it's in the air. So those two things paired together is why Miami's in the national championship game. It's why they were able to go on the road and beat Texas A&M. It's why they were able to beat Ohio State, and then they made plays when they had to, and Carson Beck played one of his better games of his career against Ole Miss. And so the defense is worrisome, but I trust Fernando Mendoza. I trust the running game of Indiana with a 2-headed monster at running back and some of the best receivers in college football. So if Indiana can hold their own, which I think the offensive line has played extremely well down the stretch, hold your own. You don't have to just put them on their rear ends, but you do have to hold them off and let Fernando Mendoza do what he does. So I'll say the defensive front paired with an aggressive secondary for Miami is definitely worrisome.
Jacob Goins from the Locked On Hoosiers podcast joins us for a few more minutes. You kind of telegraphed it a little bit earlier in the interview, talking about how you believe that this is going to be a close game. Most people nationally do not believe that well, that it's going to be that close unless you cover the Miami Hurricanes. Kind of play this out for us tonight in regards to how you think it ultimately will end up.
Well, I said this about the Oregon game, and I was completely wrong. So we'll see if I'm correct tonight. I think the first quarter and maybe even the second quarter too, slow, defense heavy, grind it out, feel each other out. And look, I don't think that Curt Cignetti and this Indiana coaching staff are the reserved type, right? Feel it out, maybe have some nerves in the national championship game. But how many times have we seen that in the past, right? Where you don't want to make the mistake. You don't want to be too aggressive early and put yourself in a hole. So I do think that the defenses will dominate this game to start, but I believe the offenses will get going, especially Indiana's offense, man. You just can't keep them down for 4 quarters. And I think Miami will score here and there. I think Carson Beck will throw a pick or two. I don't think it'll be the big blow-up game that a lot of people are talking about, but I do think that he struggles a little bit. I think Indiana's more committed to the run than Miami will be this evening, and I think Indiana will pull away late. I think it's close. I think it's tight. I like 31-17, guys. That's the score I've been on pretty much since this game became a thing. I like Indiana to pull away in the second half, especially in that fourth quarter, and by about the 6 or 7 minute mark in the game, I think we'll be celebrating for Indiana with a comfortable lead down the stretch.
I've already seen Mark Cuban. He is there. John Cougar Mellencamp. Any other notable Indiana folks that are there in attendance in Miami?
Not that I know of. Those two for sure. I know a lot of just normal Hoosier fans are going to be there. I'm sure you guys saw and heard the crowd that was in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz. And so Indiana's going to need it because, it's in Miami. It's their home stadium, and all the old school Miami folks are going to come out and be a part of it as they should. So it's going to be a great scene tonight. I hope a bunch of fans are there, Miami and Indiana, and I hope that it's a really good game. And, of course, Mark Cuban's there. You guys saw the donation that he made the other day to make sure Indiana football doesn't go anywhere.
I did not realize Jane Pauley, Susie Colbert, and also Joe Buck.
Yep.
Joe Buck's a big one.
Yeah, Joe's a big one. Joe's dad, Jack, he went to Ohio State.
Jack, I love listening to him call a baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Jack Buck. Well,
Yep.
Jacob, this has been fun. Thank you so much, and enjoy the game tonight. And for you and those who listen to the podcast, go IU.
Yeah, appreciate the time, guys. Always look forward to having the time to talk about Indiana. Looking forward to a good game.
All right, Jacob, thank you very much. Enjoy it tonight. That is Jacob Goins, host of the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, you know, the New Year's sales event is happening right now at Courtesy GMC. And if you've been waiting for a perfect time to purchase a brand new GMC, well, now is the time because you can get up to $15,000 off MSRP on Sierra trucks in stock. They get plenty to choose from. The AT4s, Denali's, SLTs, whatever you're looking for, it's on the lot. It's ready to go. If you prefer an SUV, Courtesy GMC's got plenty of options there. Huge savings on new Yukons, Yukon XLs, Terrains, and Acadias, AT4s with those packages. Plus, every new GMC comes with a brand new 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, giving you confidence mile after mile when you purchase at Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Massive selection, 9.5-acre lot. Go by and see them off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville, or you can check them out online at courtesybirmingham.com. Courtesy GMC, the New Year's sales event is on, and the savings are absolutely real.
We continue to preview tonight's college football playoff national championship game. Keep you updated. Alabama, Auburn out of the transfer portal. Any news you need to know, college football, you're going to hear it next on 3-Man Front. 11:49. Fun conversation. Jacob Goins is the host of the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Thinks it's going to be a closer game than some people nationally expect. 7.5, 8 points. That's typically the number you've seen Indiana being the favorite heading into tonight's broadcast, which begins at 6:30. And they'll have the pre-broadcast leading up to that late this afternoon there from Miami. I want to tell you about our friends at The Garage. Look, if you've got an automobile like I do, and you've had it for a few years, and there's just some little things that I need done to my truck, and it's not an overhaul of the truck, not replacing an engine, anything like that, but it's a lot of little things that I want to work properly in my truck. You can take it to the folks at The Garage. It's a local company, The Garage in Pelham, right there on Pelham Parkway. Local owners from the area. They live in the community. They've been in business for over 2 decades. When you call, you're going to speak to a staff member on site like Robert or Richie, who are listening to us right now. Friendly, professional folks. You walk into a nice, clean showroom lobby. They're going to take care of you. Guys, you can trust if your daughter has to have her car worked on, your wife, your girlfriend, they're going to be treated with respect the way that they should be. You go to the website, make an appointment. You can drop the car off in the morning, pick it up when it's done. Folks you can trust. It's thegarageinpelham.com. That's thegarageinpelham.com. Everything from oil changes to, heaven forbid, you have to have an engine replacement. Nationwide warranty, only using factory parts when applicable. And Bob, the owner, he's all about giving back to the community, sponsors a lot of local schools and charities. Thegarageinpelham.com. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
So whoever wins tonight in the national championship game, it will be the 5th team in the AP poll era to go 5-0 or better against a top 10 opponent in a single season. If you think back, LSU back in 2019, they knocked off 7 top 10 opponents on their way to the national championship. Back in 2015, Alabama did it. They went 5-0, won the Natty. 1987, Miami went 5-0, won the Natty. And in 1943, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they went 5-0 against top 10 opponents, and they won the national championship. So whoever wins tonight, it will be their 5th top 10 win, and they will join the likes of LSU, Bama, Miami before, and Notre Dame.
How do you think strength of schedule will be viewed? Do you think we'll zero in on it as much as we have in future college football playoff rankings? We're probably not so much if we expand to 16 or 24. Just given the examples of what we got this year from Miami, I don't know how many people were arguing they shouldn't be in, but a Miami team because they were the 10 seed. Nobody was really arguing Indiana this year, and you couldn't.
Well, Miami was interesting too because I think after the first 3 weeks of the season, a lot of us might have said they were the best team in the country, and then the middle part they weren't, and now it's like, oh, they are the team we thought they were at the beginning. It just looked funky.
Then you take an Ole Miss team and you look at their schedule and you say, okay, well, how many great wins did Ole Miss have during the regular season? And then you see the playoff run. I'm just wondering if it's hurt or helped maybe the argument moving forward, or maybe no impact at all.
I think every year that goes by, we are adopting the NFL mentality when it comes to college football. And I do not think that is going to be that big of a deal once the college football playoff expands. Because when it does, you're probably going to get some automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
And it's just like the NFL. Like the New England Patriots, if you looked at their strength of schedule,
they have the easiest schedule.
Yeah. And then until yesterday, that was the top defense that they had played the entire season.
Yeah.
Was the Texans. I mean, it's just the luck of the draw, and it's the way that college football now is going because it is NFL light. It's minor league football. It's exactly what it is.
We're not going to get any snow in Miami tonight.
No, but the way they're all bundled up and acting like it's the end times.
You don't see that very much in Miami, do you? People wearing jackets.
No, not at all. Do you see where EA College Football, where they played the game out? See the final score?
I'm going to guess it was an Indiana blowout.
It was a blowout.
Miami.
57-17, Miami.
Wouldn't that be something tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be good for you. I presume that you're taking Miami.
Oh, based on better.
Yeah, we're going to do that in about 10 minutes.
Got to see what you decide first, big boy.
Go Canes.
The top performer according to EA Sports, was Mark Fletcher Jr. He had 23 touches, 155 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Woo!
I will say that is the interesting thing about this game is they're probably the best defensive line they've faced and probably the best running game they've faced in a while. Could make it interesting.
You're forgetting Alabama's.
Significantly better in both areas than Alabama.
So, yeah, EA College Football 26 played the game out. 57-17 Miami.
I just want a good game. I just want it to be competitive so bad. I don't want it to be 7-15 and I'm
We better not
yawning.
get Pat. We better not get TCU Georgia. Either way.
Yeah, either way.
I don't need that tonight.
No.
Let this be an entertaining game.
And again, after all the great NFL games, I just want more of that.
Yeah.
Come on, Miami.
Third hour of the show included in that third hour. Better to forget it. We're going to do that coming up next. Also, Danny Cannell. Who's Danny going with? Does he like IU? Or is he going with Miami? Florida State guy going with Miami? Surely that would never happen, right? All of that and more. Three-man front rolls on this Monday.